All right, so today we did some practice on compound shapes, and by compound shapes, we're referring to these irregular polygons, polygons that don't necessarily have a formula defined area of. And our notes really consisted of just kind of the directions for how to do these. So this is less going to be notes, but more of the examples that were on one side of the homework or on the other side of the homework. So in order to do this, the basic principle is step one is you have to separate or decompose these shapes into smaller, more ordinary polygons. So in this case, number one, we would draw our line here. For number two, we would draw our line here. And we would just kind of repeat this process for all of these shapes. All we're doing is we're separating them into more ordinary or regular polygons. All right, so once we have separated them, we need to find the area of each individual piece, and then the final stage would be to add all of the areas together. So for number one, for example, the smaller shapes here would be this square, which is 3 meters by 3 meters. So we would do 3 times 3, which gives me an area of 9 square meters for this top shape. And down here we would have 6 meters by 3 meters. So that would give us an area of 18 square meters for number one. For this piece and this piece, our final stage is we have to add those two areas together. So we do 9 meters plus 18 meters, and we get our final answer of 27 meters squared. It's no different than if we have triangles. For this shape, we take our base of 18 and our height of 14 for this rectangle, and we're going to go ahead and multiply it. This is a calculator active unit, so we'll go ahead and use it. So 18 times 14 gives me an area of 252 inches squared. Inches squared. That's going to be for the rectangle. And for our triangle piece, we have a different formula. Triangles are base times height divided by 2. Our base for this triangle is the same as our base for this rectangle. They are the same width, so they share the same base of 18. This triangle, to find the area of it, we're going to do the base, 18, times the height, which is 9, and divide it by 2. 18 times 9 divided by 2 is going to give me 81 inches squared. Our final step is we're just going to go ahead and add 81 and 252 to get our final area of 333 inches squared. Number 3 is the hardest type of shape. Arrows are the most difficult because not all of the information is readily provided. We have to work for the base of the triangle. The square piece, that's easy enough. It's 20 times 20, which is 400. So the rectangle, or the square, like I said, is pretty easy. But the triangle is more difficult. See, we know that this red section right here is going to be 20 meters because that is the same base as this square. So we know that part is 20. We can see that the two end pieces, which I'll color in green, we can see that those are both 9 meters. But we want to find this pink space. We want to find the base of the entire triangle from start to finish. So that means we have to add 9 meters plus 20 meters plus 9 meters again to get the base of the triangle. And the base of the triangle, 9 plus 20 plus 9, gives me 38 for the base of that triangle. After we get the base of the triangle, 38, now we can go ahead and do our formula, which is base, 38, times the height, 30, divided by 2. 38 times 30 divided by 2 gives me 570 meters squared. And that's the area for this top piece, 570 plus 400 square meters for the square gives me 970 meters squared. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next couple of examples. For number 4, same thing. We have our shape already separated. This top area is 32 by 32. So 32 by 32 is 1,024. And this bottom area is going to be 64 times 16. And that gives me, again, 1,024 centimeters squared. And I just add that together, and I don't need a calculator for this next piece. We add it together to get 2,048 centimeters squared. For number 5, we have our rectangle down here, which has a base of 23 and a height of 8. Gives me 184 for the base, this rectangle. For our triangle, it's going to share the same base as the rectangle, so it's going to be a base of 23 inches, and the height is going to be 15 inches. So 23 times 15 divided by 2, because it is a triangle. So we have 23 times 15, all of that divided by 2. It's going to give me, I should have known that wouldn't have worked. Tried to be sneaky and use a calculator function. So 23 times 15 divided by 2 gives me 172.5 inches squared. All right, I'm then just going to go ahead and add the two of these, 184, and that gives me 356.5 inches squared. But you notice I didn't put this down here. That's because the directions for this paper had said to round my answer to the nearest whole number if necessary. So I actually have to round this up. So 356.5 is going to round up to get me 357 inches squared. That's what I have to do for number 5, because if it's 0.5, 5 or more, we raise the score. This raises up to 357. For number 6, we have decimals right from the start. Our rectangle piece is going to be 10 by 7.5. So 10 times 7.5 gives me 75 yards squared. For the triangle piece, it'll have the same, this red line, it's the same as 7.5. And the height of the triangle would be 5. So 7.5 times 5 divided by 2. So 7.5 times 5 divided by 2. This one gives me 18.75 yards squared. And when I add that to 75, I get 93.75. So again, we're going to have to round this one. Only this time it's 7.75. It's again closer to the next whole number going up. So we get 94 yards squared. And that's it for number 6. For number 7, we're almost finished with these examples. For number 7, we'll cut here. For number 8, this one, it's tempting to cut horizontally because that's what we've done for a lot of them, but think about what would happen if I cut there. If I cut my line there, do I have enough information? Do I know the height of this rectangle up here? No, I won't. It's not 11, it's not 8, that's not going to work. For this shape, it would make more sense to cut vertically like that. All right, so number 7, we're going to do 36 times 36 for the square that is up top. And that gives me 1,296. And for this rectangle down here, we're doing 60 times 36, which is 2,100 160. We're going to add these together to get our final answer of 3,456 yards squared for number 7. Large numbers, but with a calculator, it's not too terrible. For number 8, we have this square over here, which is 8 times 8. That is 64 feet squared. And over here, 10 times 11, which is 110 feet squared. Our final step is to add those two pieces together to get 174 feet squared. Number 9 is a little tricky. There is another way to do this. You could technically cut this diagonally to form two triangles. That's probably the easier way to do shapes that are trapezoids. This will not work for questions like number 5. This is clearly a pentagon. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 distinct sides. Trapezoids have 4 sides, 2 of them parallel, 2 of them not. For a trapezoid, it will be easier to draw one diagonal line to form two triangles. This way, we have this triangle over here with a base of 4 and a height of 2. So for this triangle, we are doing 4 times 2 divided by 2. That gives me an area of 4 feet squared. And for this larger triangle, we can see again that the base of the triangle would be 4, and the height of the triangle is also going to be 4. So for this larger triangle, we do 4 times 4 divided by 2, which that is going to give me 8 feet squared. We then combine 8 feet squared and 4 feet squared, and that's going to give me a total area for this shape, number 9, of 12 feet squared. And that's pretty much it. There aren't any other additional steps for finding compound shapes like this. There is a different type of compound shape, but we'll be discussing that a little bit more on Tuesday. Either way, I hope that this helps. I hope this gets you on the right track. And that's it. Good luck.